Now, with this, I open the floor for the question and answers. You can either put your questions on the chat box or you can unmute and ask the questions. You can unmute and ask the question, either way. To both the speakers, to Seetha ma'am and to Mr. Ganesh.
I would like to say something if I may.
Yes, sure ma'am. Nandita ma'am, you can.
Yes. My question is to Seetha ma'am. I mean, like, I'm really overwhelmed with what she said. In fact, I'm overwhelmed with both the speakers. So I really don't know what to say, what not to say. But I would start with Seetha ma'am. Like, like it was whatever you said, it was like a dream come true. But my question is, or kind of concern is that what you're saying is these kind of things should be inculcated in the schools. Now, would it be a good idea also if it could be inculcated to the parents as well? Because I do not know, I always find this, it's such a gadget oriented, especially the adolescents, so gadget oriented. And there are scores of parents who feel that, if you can, like I see around, they have a room, they have all these kind of systems, and everywhere it's like gadgets. So they're totally cut off from reality. And you've been going on talking about the real world in its true sense. So how do we go about enlightening the parents first? Because children will learn what they see. So if a house is full of gadgets, and there was a place where the parents were stuck with an ATM and they made the child sit there, a very small child, sit there with the mobile so that he does not make a lot of noise or he does not disturb. So, give him the mobile and let him be quiet while we do our work. Now, if this is going to be the attitude of adults, why do we blame our children, isn't it? So what could be done so that parents are more aware to push their children towards this real world so that there is a balance between home and school? School will do its best, but what about the home? Even home has to be, give that same push so that the child is there well balanced. So on that, if you could say something.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very tough question. Because see, there is, in any case, there is that much a school can do, not only in terms of sustainability or using these gadgets and so on any front. I entered into this world of schooling only about 23, 24 years ago. And at that time, I remember some wise old teacher telling me that, only 25% of the influence on the child can come from a school, especially a non-residential school. But, there's a 25% from the parents, 25%. It's a very crude thing to say percent, but still, and 25% from peers and the rest from society at large. So these kind of changes are, what we can call, it's all part of an infinite game. It's not a finite game of doing something and getting the changes overnight or whatever period of time. Because in our school, with very few children compared to some of the big schools, we have about 600 children. But yet, before admission, we have sessions with parents talking about all these things, gadgets, how they affect them. We have in between workshops for parents. Not all attend, but some do. We send circulars. We do a lot of things. We have these meetings during the times when they come to receive the feedback about a child. Now, I'm saying, in spite of doing all this, with a very good teacher-child ratio and so on, still many of our parents are on the same trip that you're describing. So the influence of the world at large is very, very compelling. So all I would say is that these kind of changes take time to, they say that for change to happen, there are several stages. One is just the buzz has to come. And then, a few people who are leading the change and so on. I remember somebody who's written a book on changeology. So I draw some comfort from that. We are only in the early stages where the buzz we are developing.
No, and what I feel is
it's not easy is what I'm trying to tell you. We can do our bit, but a parent may not change.
Yeah, the ironical part is that the parents belonged to an age where there wasn't so much of gadgets. they were actually connected to the real world. But now when it comes to their child, then it's a push towards gadget and, as you said, junk food and, you know, all that. Like that has become the trademark for being up to date. So that is very ironical, you know, like coming from real backgrounds and then pushing them towards an unreal world. That is very, very ironical. And of course, as you said, it will take time. But I wish there was, like, NEP is going to bring about a huge change in the entire education system. Like that, I wish there was a kind of, you know, system or policy made even where parents could be involved and there could be a change in the mindset of theirs as well. I mean, it's an absolute, you know, reality that people need to come back to that real world, that connectivity to nature, that connectivity to reality. It is so far away, you know.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. But thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, can I add a couple of?
Yeah.
I know that I'm not qualified as Seetha ma'am, but definitely a couple of points as a parent from my end. This is what I did for my kids. I mean, we are in Chennai, and not many would know in Chennai that we have olive ridley turtles who come and actually do hatchings in the month of November and December. There is turtle walks. You can walk through the whole coast, and you can actually pick up the eggs. They will be in the thousands. There is a hatchery, and then it kind of where the hatchlings are like properly safely returned back to the ocean. So that process, there is a NGO that is actually doing it. So now what I did was that I formed a group of my child is in 8th standard, so we formed a group with the parents and then said, who's all interested to take the turtle walk along with my daughter? So it's very easy that way. 2019, we did that. And then the children were very, very inquisitively, they were very happy about it. Why I did that was because maybe it's a self-realization from my end. And then I heard this somewhere from some of my friends. So one of my friends is a photographer, and then he posted a photograph of something over there, and then of a turtle in Chennai beach, and then I was like inquisitive and learned what it is. So what I'm saying is that the parents are very lazy. I'm also a very lazy, and then I have my busy schedule and all these things that are actually there. But if you show us the way, I don't see at least 20-25% of them will follow. And then the rest of the crowd to follow that is not going to take a lot of time for you, because there is going to be peer pressure. Like how for gadgets, there is peer pressure for the children. There is also peer pressure for doing good things also for the parents. So you can take the same leaf out of how, if I'm having an iPhone, I also should have an iPhone. Okay, you're going for turtle walk. Let me go to Vedandangal and start do bird watching. Let me buy a telescope, right? I mean, let's kind of play.
Hello,
I be aware as a parent. You're an aware parent, so that's the thing.
Can you just wait for a minute for him to finish?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry,
okay, ma'am.
Thank you.
Kuldan ma'am, okay.
Okay. So I wanted to add on that the virtual world is the real world. We are now in that world, and that is real. I mean, and so, we talked about the deep learning and the deep marks. That is the real world. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. The point is, with that, we have to still connect with the actual world. There is no running away. You cannot do away with the gadgets. They have to stay. We have to find the balance. So through that, how can we come to the real world? I think if we do that, that will be easier. That's what I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I quickly say something, Meera ma'am?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with what Swaminathan said of adding more activities which enthuse the children, because in the kind of work we do, a sort of self-exploration work is central to a lot of work we do in Prakriya and Bhumi, and we have a saying there, which is elimination is very fatiguing. So to eliminate maybe that answers what Kulvan said also, to try and eliminate or reduce the gadgets may be very difficult. But with children, when you add something interesting, they will respond.
They will respond, yeah.
Not only in this way, but in multiple aspects. Can we learn to add rather than worry too much? Yes, we will worry, but that will not lead us very far. The world will be what?
Ma'am, nowadays both the parents are working. So it's difficult for them to do it. But you know, if you take away some time, saying that this is a particular time for these children to see the be with the gadgets apart from their education time. Okay, nowadays because of the pandemic, they are mostly on virtual learning. So apart from that, there is some time for them to play games or see the videos or whatever it is. And then in the weekends, you take them out for a nearby place, as the Swaminathan was telling, you know, places nearby, just to a beach or a riverside. I'm sorry, to any place, and show them the nature and be with the nature. I think that will work wonders. If you, as one parent,
Yes.
start with 2-3 of your friends, then you know the group will slowly, anything, you know, change happen overnight. It will slowly happen.
See,
Definitely, I think it will slowly happen.
you know, unfortunately,
Anybody else?
unfortunately, we are living in a world of lot of wishful thinking. You know, because parents trying to take children to out and all that. Yeah, we wish it would happen. And also, children, we must understand, should not be entertained all the time. They
Exactly.
have to learn to manage life in multiple ways. So it's a very complex world, no doubt. No easy answers.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Swaminathan sir, there is a question for you in the chat box, saying that how can we retain the importance of teachers to student through your software, as the entire job will be done by the software? Dr. Satyavir Singh.
Oh, no.
Could you
Okay.
please?
So in 20 to 25 minutes, I was unable to show a complete demo of the product. So probably it takes about 1 to 1.5 hours to show a complete demo. So the tagline that we actually have for the product is that DPID is not a replacement for teachers. Very simple. It is only to assist the teachers as such. It's only a tool or an application to assist the teachers. Now, when I say that the software will actually read or do everything, it is not like that. It is like still the teachers have to still configure the answer keys. Still the teachers are the one who will actually have to provide the answers, the questions itself. Now, when it's graded, when the result actually comes through, what happens is now for the question that has been configured or for the answer key that has been configured, the teachers are armed with the data. So now the data is there. The teachers have to become consumers of the data, sir. So that is where is the most important thing. So it is not like just about just automating the work that is done manually. It is not just that; it's beyond that actually. So that is where DGrade stands upon. It's not just to automate. Okay, we were doing correction manually. Now we are doing using software. No, it's not. It's not just so raw like that. I hope I answered. And maybe in a detailed demo, I will still be able to accomplish saying, okay, this is how the current teachers are using it, how they are actually getting used with it. And incidentally, what happened was my kid has an exam tomorrow, and then her school doesn't use DGrade. But she is using DGrade to test herself out. So that's something which is actually happening. So because yeah.
Swaminathan sir, I just want to interrupt you.
Shanmugathan sir, can you?
Yeah.
Swaminathan, can I say
very clear.
Meera ma'am, can I interrupt to Swaminathan sir?
Yeah.
Yes,
Swaminathan
you can sir, I just want to rather add something that till we are rather assessing objective type of questions, it's fine. But in subjective, the teacher emotion also plays a very big role.
Mm-hmm.
Because the teacher has to understand that what the child has written and in which context.
Mm-hmm.
So if we rather predefine the answers, then I think we are limiting the child to just write only and only to that context only.
So it depends on the question itself, sir. I'll answer one of the previous questions as well together. The first question that was there is, how do you actually grade creative answers? So that was the first question which was asked by someone in the chat. Actually, I saw that. Now the point really there is that can AI grade creative questions? No, AI cannot grade creative questions. I'll be very loud and clear about it. For that matter, none of us here can, because if I'm going to grade that creative question, I'm going to give 7 marks. If Seetha ma'am corrects it, she's going to give 6 marks, and if Meera ma'am corrects it, she will give 5 marks, because that is very perception based. But there are also other factors that we actually grade when we grade say a creative question. We look at the sentence structure, look at the grammatical construct, we look at are there any punctuation errors, look at whether the story has been written coherently, and then we see whether the characters has been introduced properly. So now this is more like a rubrics grading matrix where it says, okay, this is how you grade, or say this is how the child has actually written. The creativity part, definitely nobody can grade at all. But all these other aspects can still be graded using AI. Now, coming to the descriptive part, I mean, say for example, if I'm going to verify whether photosynthesis is working properly or not, or explain photosynthesis, what is the whole process, how does it happen? Now, it cannot change with kid to kid. The way in which they represent can change. They can write a story along with to explain it. That is something which AI will be able to pick it up, sir. That's how we do it. Maybe during a detailed demo, I can explain how it's done. But yes, that's when we started out, that was the biggest challenge itself that we faced, right? I mean, any child can represent it in any number of ways and still be absolutely right about the answer. So yes, that is what we are doing actually. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Swaminathan. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else wants to? Is there anybody? Yeah, Shanmunathan sir, you can ask the question.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. I like to add upon to Swaminathan's things because I seen it is a need of the hour. So as I say, it is not going to replace a teacher. In fact, it is going to help because we are in the techo world and where CPSC everyone says conceptual learning is important. So the correction part is taken by the software, so that still the teacher can spend much more time on the children of doing because now you see the tabulation, everything within a minute we are able to finish because such a program set by the CPSC board that is going to happen. So even there are programs which helps for proctoring also. So all these have been taken care by the ecosystem, and we have to emphasize, insist on the children learning part of it. For that, when the teacher times are, these are all more or less like a clerical job, and that can be rectified, modified, even reduced, so that teacher fully concentrate on this process of making the child better even for conceptual learning. Second thing, since the program such a way that because we had a same demo, we experienced also, they say that no bias because there is a definitely even whatever we do, still the parents will come and ask for subjective question. This would have been given mark. But when you see this is program, this is the way it has been. This is systematically done. Definitely parents will consult by that and they'll get convinced. And will be relieved so that we'll more on concentrating for the academic part of it, learning part of it, which is going to be predominant in the NEP and all this, which is very important. That's what I feel. Am I right? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I have something to.
Nageshwar Rao sir. Nageshwar Rao sir. Ravi sir.
Yes, madam. Good evening, everybody. My compliments to both the speakers today. They have touched the two dimensions. One is Seetha madam has reminded us that the responsibility of educating the children along with the nature, concern for the sustainable education. And Mr. Swaminathan has taken us the way ahead, how we have to move ahead by using the artificial intelligence. But as many people were asking, that fear is there whenever it comes to the artificial intelligence, that it may actually keep away the human being from the process. As he rightly said, it is not a substitute and it is going to assist. And I'm very happy Mr. Shanmuganandam also added that all this data is actually going to alert the teacher that you need to do these are the things. Out of 40 students, maybe, see, for example, Seetha madam is having serious concern of, the environment part. If suppose there is a question answered, asked in the examination, that which checks about his environmental quotient of the child. And deep grade will tell that in the entire school, how many of the children are actually having a concern for the nature, which is humanly not possible for the school to identify. Maybe somebody can appreciate this, but how many children are really care for that? That such type of data we can today, the technology can bring. And even NEP is very, very strongly telling that technology integration is going to be the future of our education. And 360-degree evaluation. This 360-degree assessment part still requires a lot of, here I feel that the artificial intelligence, like product like Deep Grade, can play a very important role in fetching the data. See, today, as rightly he has mentioned, the biggest challenge is the time and the data, he has said. Of course, when we are occupied with so many things, the mundane work which is unnecessarily consuming that. See, I was also a teacher for about 20 years. I know how much time I have to spend at even, the next day I have to submit the result. Sometimes I just put a tick like Monroe Doctrine where the boy has just scribbled something and still he got 1 mark. Even I have done it because you can't blame the people. The time is the pressure. But now, today we are talking about learning for the concept clarity, not for the mark. So how do you understand that? How many children have understood in the class? It's a real challenge in the education world. That's how we are actually not able to get the real outcome. Today, government can also, even NEP, I feel that if this product reaches to the, Prime Minister Modi ji, and I'm sure that he will use this as a kind of a tool for fixing accountability. Today, when a teacher teaches and comes out of the class says, I have done my best, he says. But 50% of the students are not able to answer to that question. How do you claim that I have done my best? So you need to do some homework. What type of children are there in the class? How to now address them? This is how things have to go. So I'm really impressed with today both the speakers that the way they have put their content and everything. One is the innovative product, and the other one is that we have to rethink our education process, making into as an experiential learning, and it's the way it's going on. And technology, somebody was telling technology is really helping. In fact, today, incidentally, morning I was speaking to Mr. Shanmuganathan. He was telling that Shanmuganathan, he said in the morning, LKG students in the class, they asked, it seems, can you identify all those house item which is starting with the C? And children all ran around and they collected and then provided and shown in front of the camera. So there are many ways one can think about that. Today, it's reaching is much easier. You can post everything and experiential learning can be easily extended. You don't need to do everything at home and at school. You can give it to the parents and they will do it and then they will report, and then there is a technology to process it and give it in the form of data. So that's what now we are going in a blended manner. I still remember yesterday Manja Puja madam was telling that the future of the education is in the blended mode where technology should go along with that, but only we need to know how to utilize, upgrade ourselves.
Yeah, yes, Ravi, I do like to add some more points in that. Now we are in the process of hybrid learning, blended learning, and integrated learning. These are the only way we can make it grand success.
Thank you.
All the three plays a role. Thank you all. Thank you.
Nageshwar sir, you can unmute yourself and ask a question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, all of you. I think we all have learned so many things today from both the speakers and discussion from Nandita ma'am, Ekosan and Kulwant ma'am, and Shanmugan sir and Ravi sir. However, change, according to the change, is very, very important. So that change we are not accepting, that's where the problem comes. Yes. So we all connected from different parts of the world, India. So it is possible because of technology. So you can't say no to anything. Ma'am said ecological balance, that is very, very important. All are important, but how everybody takes in a proportionate way, then all these things happen and you accept the change, not because somebody said you follow. Your heart should say something that you should follow, which is implemented, if possible, in your school or in your organization, in your college, wherever. And see your surroundings also should be ecologically balance maintained. Just use and throw type, like ma'am said, the example, good example, water bottle they drink and throw here and there. They're bringing imbalance in the nature. So similarly, whether you blend the learning, teaching, learning, physical process or online process, 100% we are all responsible, elders responsible. So the way we educate the children, definitely children also will change, and they bring change in us ultimately, because their youth are more 65 to 70%. They can bring lot, and they can take our India to the top level 100%, no doubt. Only we are the change makers. We are just facilitators. Change makers are youth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Could you, Seetha ma'am, would you like to add something for this?
Yeah, I want to quickly say two things. One is to Mr. Nageshwar Rao. This whole talk of India being at the top, we should understand that countries that aim to be at the top also become the top polluters. There is no way you can go to the top without becoming a top polluter. So the two are, at war with each other. And the second thing is, when it comes to technology, yes, it is inevitable, but we have to remember just one thing. I came across some studies by anthropologists and others who have said that, for instance, when people started living in cities, in towns and villages and so on, apparently that's when the sense of smell went down. The thing is, the study is about how when we get one new faculty, we lose something else. When writing, written word became important, memory went down. There was a time when people would memorize the 4 Vedas. Today people still can, only when the focus is, but very easily most people cannot memorize that way. And I think one of the things to remember is technology in the hands of children. We already seeing excessive technology is making them disconnected, not only from nature, but with their immediate surroundings sometimes. And we have seen children who are unable to move around and dance, but the parents were boasting the child is so good with the computer, So there could be other faculties which are lost in our getting so enamored by these new technologies. I think it's just something to keep in mind. And also we must remember, child to child, there is a variation. One child may not be affected so much, another child will be severely affected. So there is no, alternative to being sensitive and observant of what's happening.
That was exactly, Seetha ma'am, I completely agree with you. That was exactly what was my point. Technology, of course, it's inevitable, and we have to base everything on that. But when, why the term gadget freak has come out? It's because, as you rightly said, children have taken technology as their daily routine. They are not, we have to base ourselves, we have to know the basics, that's fine. But when the basics become your habit, that is where the thing goes wrong. And that's why there are people who don't know the names of their relatives. There are people who don't know that you need to sometimes call and keep connection. The people who don't know how to write a letter. People who don't know how to communicate. It's happening. There are children who cannot sit to study without the mobile beside. So why are these things happening? This is where we have to kind of, maneuver and channelize them and bring about that balance. And the balance has to come from us. First, it has to come from us.
Yeah,
and also, let's remember, depression is on the increase in children, and mental illness.
Yes.
Depression, and in the West, in Europe, apparently 30+ people have gone for treatment for 30+% of people have gone for treatment for some kind of mental illness or the other. In the US, again, has one of the highest rates of mental illness. So when we want to go to the top, we shall also be on top for mental illness, not only for polluting the earth. Let's not forget, let's not celebrate something beyond the extent to which we should celebrate it.
Seetha ma'am, one thing I want to really ask you, that you said you talked about localized learning, which I felt was the best thing that touched me. And if that happens, if everyone can, improve the little environment where they are, the world will become a better place. How can we get it into our education? How do we do that?
See, that's what I'm saying. The government is not going to be easy to change. Although they say when a lot of people change, lot of bottom-up change is there. Over a period of time, top-down change will also come.
Yeah.
So that's all we can hope for. But not only the local work, what I'm saying is that is one of the things. I think children also need to see the bigger picture. They need to understand how the huge corporate, and I'm not blaming every single corporate, Mr. Swaminathan, but how the corporate, the huge corporate and the globalized economic system is the primary has the primary responsibility for climate change. There is no doubting it. I'm not saying it. Hundreds of scientists have said it. I'm not saying it. Absolutely.
Seetha ma'am, I like to add some point with the permission of Meera ma'am. So definitely, ma'am, this ecological learning plays a role of make the child intellect. So because we are so much of concentrating on intelligence, no doubt is technology helps for that. When you go for hybrid learning of this, making the child more than intelligent than that, it should be intellectual and intellect. So that's the quality of life comes out through intellect learning, and standard of life comes through intelligence learning. So for intelligence, the technology may help, but as we are in our own culture and heritage, so this intellectual learning has to be taken up. That for this, the group of ecological learning, make them value-based learning, personality learning, all this going to help. So when it goes hand in hand with that present era of this, definitely help us. So that's what my end of. So making a child intellect is more important than intelligence.
Let me add to this. Actually, what happens is, students do not know their own surrounding. The place where they are living, the surrounding, what is the environment, what is the soil about, what is the nature, what are the birds coming to the place, they don't know. So if we make them know about it, we can also teach many of the things and then ask them to go further using the technology. I mean, so many things it learn from the surroundings. In our own house, what are the things we can use, what are the things can be done, they are not able to know. If we tell them all these things and then if we make them do it, I think they can work more on that using the technology. Technology will definitely help them to, if they know the basics, technology will help them to grow mentally, and of course physically everything will happen automatically. Anyone else? I think we can take 2 more questions.
Meera ma'am, just a quick response. I would like to tell you some parents have come helplessly and talked to us. I don't know how to make my child do this or that. So we may say we must make them do this or that, but sometimes it is easier said than done. I mean, we've had parents coming to say, I don't know how to make the child eat good food and whatever. So
Yes.
you can take the horse to water, you can't make it drink. And because they have been exposed to something else. And human beings, we must remember, are addictive creatures. And our addictions are exploited by corporate.
Oh, what a wonderful statement. I must remember this.
Yeah, right. We are, in fact, I wrote an article called Homo Addictus because we are an addictive, it's a subconscious mind which does this to us. And so the children, once you get them addicted, it's difficult to get them out of it.
So, ma'am, if you can add a couple of points to what
So many takeaways today.
Yes, Swaminathan sir.
So there is a book, there is a famous author called as Nir-Eyal, Nireyal. There are 2 books from him. The first book is called as Hooked, Hooked, Hooked. So he kind of talks about in that particular book, it's a very probably like 120 pages book. He talks about how to create habit forming apps. So, for example, Facebook, LinkedIn, or say for I think you all would have learned, right? I mean, the moment you post a picture on LinkedIn or in Instagram, and then you get to see like 10 likes, the chemicals in the brain trigger, and then you feel really happy that oh, somebody's liked my picture. You go to that same WhatsApp status and then check it like 100 times. Okay, is it now 20? Is it now 25? So this is how I mean the whole book talks about it in terms of how those kind of apps are formed. The next book of his is called as Indistractable, which talks about now how to not fall prey to those kind of apps. So I would strongly recommend. I've read both of the books, and I would strongly recommend going over both of the books because what the way I look at it is that it's mostly awareness. It's not like I want my child to sit before the TV or use the gadget or do something. It's one thing is that I'm just talking as a parent. Is one thing is that I'm very lazy, or I have an easy way out, which is to give them a mobile phone or probably to give them a TV and then put Netflix and that and this, load it up. It's 5,000 rupees a month for me, and I'm happy. They keep seeing the cartoons or whatever. Now, the realization that actually happens is that I can also have fun with them. The realization that most parents need, and that needs to be. I mean, all the gurus here have to teach the parents also. You can charge some extra fees, no issues. But I humbly request all the gurus here, because it is much required in the society is what I believe. You believe me, I can get you 20 people if you're ready to start a session like that. Like tomorrow, I can get you 20 people.
Sorry, sir, they won't attend, sir. They won't attend. Yeah. Parents won't attend. It's only, they push children only to learn.
They will attend. I have a strong feeling they will attend.
So again, sir, it is again social pressure, sir. That is what it's given in the book, right? It's not just that whether I self-realize or not, right? Somehow it is. I mean, we have seen a lot of videos that one goat crosses that particular bridge, all the goats follow. All you need to get this, the top 3 or the top 4 influencers. The rest of the goats you will follow. Don't worry. You don't.
Absolutely.
Can I talk from experience? In our school, in the smaller classes, the parents do attend, if not all, many attend the workshops. Middle school onwards, they don't. And I would also like to say that these parents, we felt middle school also there are a lot of issues to address. And because they wouldn't attend our workshops, we said on the feedback day, the first term and third term, we have a detailed feedback. A lot of conversations happen, not just a report card. So on that day, we give them a workshop, and only then they can collect the report card and have a conversation. We literally have to arm twist them to attend workshops. So I like your wishful thinking. They will come. I mean, our experience, and ours is a school where many parents come because they like the green wisdom. Even so,
once it might be gave marks for attending the parents' meeting to the parent, that will be added to the internal marks.
See, we are trying to run away from the mark system. If you want more and more marks, we are going against our philosophy.
So make the parents to know. So we added that. So once only in the beginning, afterwards they dropped it. The parents started coming in, we stopped the system.
I agree with Swaminathan. If you start with 20, if you collect 20, at least 5 will come for the meeting. So once the 5 says, "Oh, it was excellent," then that means everyone will start pouring in to know whether it is really they want to know or not know. They will definitely attend the meeting. Yes, ma'am, this will be the last question.
Yes. No, I just wanted to add, because, once we set up that system, people will come and the word will spread. The thing is that they all go for a physics class or a math class or an English class, but there is no class for parenting, and that is required actually. So the more we take our parents on board, I think we'll never mitigate, we'll never have a 100% problem-free school, never. That will never happen. But we have to be at it all the time.
Yeah.
And as Seetha ma'am said, we have to conduct workshops. Even our experiences that parents do come, they come in the primary school, middle school, it tapers down, but we still insist, and then they are willing. They want to listen, because really sometimes they have when both parents are working, they really don't know how to deal with their teenage children and all those things. So it is important to continuously go through this process, and it works. It takes time. It takes a lot of patience and effort. And we should not, I mean, suppose out of 100 parents, only 20 turn up, it's okay. At least we are able to reach those 20. That's the way if you look at it. And those 20 spread the word. So it's not all is not lost. It's only because we have to change
There
our
is
mind.
always exception.
I think we'll finish it off with this. And thank you for both the speakers. It was excellent. And I hope the people would have taken a lot from today's session. The audiences are walking out with insightful takeaways from today's session. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow again at 5 p.m. with another set of people. I'll then have a wonderful day and a wonderful thought process to go on in your mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.